You are aware that women couldn't have credit cards until very recently, and they couldn't have bank accounts, right? This is fairly recent. Did you guys know that? Women couldn't have those things.
Do you mind telling me how recent?
Yeah, well, actually, I'm going to pull up the exact date, just so you have it. So I think that this was, let's see, 1974, looks like. So 1974, before they could have credit cards, right? That seems pretty unfair, right? They couldn't even have them, right? Or bank accounts, things like that. That seems pretty, do you guys agree that that's fundamentally unfair?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I would like to ask you this question, though. In the 1950s, when women couldn't have these things, can I get a show of hands of the women here who think that relationships right now in the year 2024 are more stable and better than they were in the 1950s, just by a show of hands? Can I get a show of hands of the women who think that the relationships in the year 2024 are more unstable than they were in the 1950s?
Unstable?
Unstable.
Yeah, it's more. I'm pretty sure they are.
So just nobody else has an opinion? Do you think that the relationships in the year 1950 were more or less stable than they are now? By a show of hands.
Well, he said more.
Stable.
Yeah. Do you think that they were more stable in the 1950s?
Yes.
Yes. Than they are right now? And do you think in the year 2024 that relationships are less stable than they were in the 1950s?
Yes.
So can any of you explain to me why it would be in a million years that even though women were suffering under this type of horrific oppression, that relationships were better under that oppression than they are right now when women are the most liberated they've ever been?
Well, stability can mean a lot of things. It can be stably bad. Because they did.
Do you think that they were stably bad, or do you think that the relationships were better? When you talk to your grandparents, do they tell you how horrible things were, or do they tell you things were better? You tell me.
Honestly, I had a lot of mixed opinions on that.
Yeah. They mostly say it was better, right? They mostly say it was better. Most of the time you talk to people who are older than you, especially significantly older than you. I can tell you right now, the 90s were better. The 90s were better than the year 2024. I promise you they were better. In every conceivable way I can think of, it's not nostalgia, they were better.
But I think that has to do something with also, like I mentioned before, with social media and people feeling like they have to put up a face and all that stuff. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah, it's not just one thing.
Well, wait a second. That's really weird, because the internet is a recent invention. This is not an old invention. Don't you think people in the 90s, so let me ask you this. The year is 1980. There is no internet. Mm-hmm. There's no internet in the year 1980. Do you think relationships were better or worse?
Better.
Better. They're better, right?
Well, they were more.
So now, So now moving forward, right? You hit the internet age. You think that the internet age is what destroyed everything?
I think so. I don't think it's the only reason, but there's a big influence in that. 100%. Yeah.
What is it?
Like I said.
What is the thing about social media that destroyed everything between men and women?
Because people it's.
E-boys probably did it.
People try to portray themselves as someone they're not in social media. Everyone's are constantly trying to one-up each other. There's no authentic connections anymore.
Definitely twerking did it.
Dating apps are way more superficially based. There's a lot of reasons.
Can I have one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's the number one reason that you think things were better back then?
I also.
Sorry.
And by the way, the reason I brought this example up is because in the year 1980, women had those equalities, right? They had those equalities, and yet you still say that the relationships were better, even then. So are we pinpointing this on the internet? And what is the thing about the internet that has messed relationships up?
there's more easy access to more people because of the internet, so therefore you're looking at more people than they did back then, where back then they actually believed in true love, I guess, and now it's kind of way more accessible, and so therefore that traditional marriage or traditional kind of love is dying out.
Yeah, people see that they have more options now. Even if that's not the case, they're like, oh, there's this guy or this girl, and there's this, yeah.
Okay, so you think that the entirety of relationship dynamics have been destroyed, not because of the feminist move for women to become empowered snobs, but rather because women have more choices in men. And so what? They're going for a select group of men?
I think men also have those choices as well, and maybe I can consider.
No, men don't have those choices.
It's still more easily accessible for men with the
No,
internet.
it's not more easily accessible for men. It was way more easy. So here, I can demonstrate this for you. If you were localized and there was only 50 women who were in your community versus 50 men, right? Wouldn't the women be far more accessible to the men and the women to the men? Because these are your only choices, right? Right? Well, now it's a buffet. But let me ask you a question. Do you think on a dating app that a guy who's as attractive as you are just for a male as opposed to a female, do you think that you get more people DMing you or he gets more people DMing him?
Most likely me.
Most likely you.
Wait, do you have a
So
brother?
that means that from the sexual selection perspective, you have way more options than he does, right?
Wait, really quick, do you have a brother?
I do.
How old is he?
He is 18.
18. Okay,
Actually,
oh, 19. And you're 22, right? Who's crushing, like who could crush it more, you know?
Crush it?
Who could crush it more? Like if you guys had to do like a competition, just to fuck or whatever, like who could just crush it?
I don't like those two words in the same sentence, but I would say I guess me.
Yeah. Like you would, but it wouldn't. It's not even a competition, right? Like you would just fuck them up.
Yeah, and I can't not acknowledge the fact that like it's true that when you see like a woman's like dating profile versus a man's, and they could be equally attractive, it's always the women that get more matches, and I'm not going to deny that. But I do feel that because of the internet, it does still make it more easily accessible to both man and woman.
There's a lot of men who prefer to not commit to a lot of women anymore. Like that's pretty common in this day and age.
Maybe the top tier guys, maybe.
I would say most. At least our age. Yeah.
Yeah, but those men, I mean, most men aren't willing to commit to a woman?
I feel like a lot nowadays more.
What percentage of men are you attracted to?
I don't have a percentage. I think my type is weird, but yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
But also like
Because I feel like most men are invisible to y'all. Like most men, you wouldn't even consider. Whereas like most men find most women attractive. Most women definitely do not find most men attractive.
Yeah.
Huge differential.
Tom_Stone donated
Thank you,
$100.
thank you, Tom. Appreciate it, man.
Marine Corvette here. Name one right you don't have that men do at this point in time. Name one.
Anybody on this? Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it, man. Anybody? Going once? Going twice?
Yeah, well, what I was getting at, we were right there, is the idea that if the internet has messed things up and sexual selection for women is very high, then how come men are having such a hard time finding women?
I feel like nowadays.
Drake. Sorry.
I feel like nowadays women are. I can't deny the fact that women now have this mindset, like as a collective. I'm not saying I relate to it, but it's the truth where women are like, oh, independent and like I don't need a man kind of energy. So therefore, men also have like proven, or not proven, but it's like I guess in a study where men have said that they're more intimidated by women nowadays because of the rejection that they'll face, or this fear of being seen as like a creep or something.
Yeah, you have 100 DMs for every one DM a man might get, possibly 1,000, possibly 500, right? But it's going to be significantly more, right? Men are going to DM you significantly more than you DM them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that it's possible that most of the women are responding to the same type of man?
Same type of man.
Well,
Yeah.
everyone, well,
So if you have this giant pool of men to select from now that you didn't have before, and now you can select for the top tier ones that you want. They're over 6'2", perhaps. They make a lot of money. They're very good looking. Do you think that women would compete over those men?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too. And do you think if they were localized and they only knew about the men in their local area pre-internet, they wouldn't have to compete, right?
Andrew, wouldn't there still be competition?
Yeah, but it would be localized competition.
Right, yeah.
Localized meaning it's not a buffet, right? Right now you have a buffet. If you get 100 DMs, you can go through 100 guys and pick and choose, right? Men can't do that, correct?
Correct.
So doesn't it stand to reason that if men are having trouble finding women, that women are going for this kind of top tier of men? They're all going for kind of those same guys.
I still will stand by like the fact that I do believe both men and women have more access to dating and having more of a variety when it comes to dating due to the internet. And I'm not saying one is like getting it more.
No, they don't have the same access.
I'm not saying
That's
they have the
insane.
same access, but I'm saying we both have grown with variety due to the internet at different
Okay.
scales.
Okay, but again, I'm gonna ask you this again. If men get no DMs from women and you get 500 DMs from men, who has the selection buffet? Men or women?
Women.
Women. And does it stand to reason that they would go for the best looking and the ones who were the best looking and made the most amount of money?
Sure.
Yeah, and it would stand to reason that men would go for like the hottest women, right?
Right.
Okay, so then if that is the case, couldn't it be possible that women are just really all competing over a small select group of men?
Sure, yes.
Yeah, so this is called hypergamy.
But
And
wasn't
the idea here is that I agree with you that the internet is what destroyed dating. I just wanted to kind of walk you through how it did. Absent localization, right? Meaning we live in a farm town in the 1950s. There's only 30 women to choose from, right? I'm going to pick one of those women. And those women don't have access to men external, those same men in the farm town. So they're going to only have X amount to pick from. But what happens when we open up that global market? Well, now all women can compete for 10%, 5% of men, right?
Which that
And
was
that's
my argument.
that's exactly what's happening.
Yes.
How
that
many
was my
DMs
argument.
do you respond to?
Huh?
How many DMs do you respond to?
I don't check my DMs. I don't respond to DMs.